Thank you so much for joining me today. Who remembers this video?
From Chicago, Illinois. I'm speaking directly in the camera.
That's okay. That's right. That's right.
As I'm here appealing to the Honorable, the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to please come to our assistance, come to my assistance, because I can't make a reputation back in America as I have for this country. I speak so highly and so freely about Nigeria, and to come in back and invest into this wonderful country. But look at our investment now, down the drain.
Believe it or not, the issue for which that woman was crying has still not been sorted. And I would like for you guys to know that she's actually not the only one. About 400 Nigerians in the diaspora, African Americans like that woman, white Americans, Chinese nationals, they were all affected. And to talk to us about what has happened and what is still happening is none other than the CEO of Wayne Homes Property, who was the one that was able to convince all these Nigerians in the diaspora to come and invest in Nigeria. You know, a lot of Nigerians.
The video you just watched right now was sent to me by a client who has invested into the city of Abuja, but we had to go through a lot of consultation sessions before that very investment was made. We had to go through series of conversation about investing, particularly into Abuja as a city. And then this said video that I'm currently doing is going to be meant for investors who they are already heavily invested into Nigeria, specifically Abuja, where my area of expertise is. And also for those investors who has lost hope for Nigeria as a country and also neglected investing into the Nigerian real estate market, specifically Abuja as a city. Now, if you are familiar with this very YouTube channel, you will know that over time I have always educated you on the right things to do, how you can be able to invest strategically into this very city and set yourself up for massive returns on your investment by investing with the information I am sharing with you. And then very recently, I did a video where I did a comparison of the Lagos market and the Abuja real estate market. And if you already know where the trajectory of this video is headed, then I would say you should stay till the very end to get every single bit of information I'll be sharing in this particular video, because this video is based on research, based on in-depth knowledge, and also based on experience by playing actively in the Abuja real estate market. My name is Alefune David, and I am the real estate broker in the city of Abuja, who's committed to bringing you the absolute best of real estate, educating you, and also bringing you the most affordable real estate investment opportunities in the city of Abuja. Now, first off, we all already know the reason why the Federal Capital Territory was moved from a place like Lagos to Abuja. Right? A major reason why it was moved is because of the expansion. The government, they looked ahead and then they knew that Lagos can no longer expand. Right? So they had to move the Federal Capital Territory from Lagos to a whole other different location, which is currently known as the FCT, and also housing the FCC, which is the Federal Capital City. Now, let's now rewind back to Lagos, right? Now, because of the expansion issues, a lot of things that the government will be doing in terms of getting land will be just to be demolishing and also to be revoking properties around that very jurisdiction. Right now, this is just a basic summary of our entire conversation, but just to give you an idea of why Lagos was stripped of the Federal Capital Territory. In repeated scenarios, I have had a lot of clients who said they prefer investing into Lagos as a city than Abuja, which I respect their own personal preference. First off, if you did not get the entire story of the video I played earlier on, the investment made in that particular estate was worth millions and millions of dollars. And then this investment came in from Nigerians in the diaspora and also other nationalities, other people that came from other countries of the world, right? And then the Nigerian government sort of proved the point that all of these investors had before they even went into this particular investment, right? And then this said narrative is being created in a way that it is now rubbing off on other jurisdiction inside Nigeria, which is a totally wrong narrative to have especially for a city like Abuja that is known to be the leading sector in terms of real estate in Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but also in Africa. It is part of the leading sector in terms of the real estate. With this narrative already being created, a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora, they are now happy, not really happy per se, but also it's more like the Nigerian government proved them right. But like I mentioned earlier on, this is a totally different reality for a place like Abuja. Now, let's now move on to the real fact of what is guiding Abuja as a city and why something that happened in Lagos cannot happen in Abuja. As you already know, Abuja is one of the most planned cities in not just Nigeria, but also in Africa as a whole. In fact, Abuja is ranked number 1 in the top 10 planned cities in all of Africa, making it a go-to city for real estate investment, both for foreign investment and also for Nigerians living across the world. Right now, with this, if you are very familiar with this YouTube channel, over time, I have also shared with you the master plan of Abuja, and this has been a major selling point for us as a firm, for us as a brokerage firm here in the city of Abuja. And the reason why I've always hammered on the master plan of Abuja is not just because I want to educate you or I want to sell real estate, but also to show you that Abuja is a totally different city compared to other cities around Nigeria. Now, behind me is the map of Abuja. And if you're very familiar, I made a video very recently where I talked about the movement of development in the FCC, which is the Federal Capital City. And I said it is moving from the most powerful district, which is Asokoro, to the international airport. Now, how did I get this information? It's because Abuja has a master plan, and then it is accessible to every single person who is open to learning about the movement of development in this very city. Now, in addition to this particular point, Abuja has a guiding law, which we refer to as the FCT Act of 1976. Now, that act now enacted the Land Use Act of 1978, which whole of Nigeria they're currently using in the administration of land in each of their respective jurisdiction. Let's now relate this back to the earliest video I played. Now, Abuja, like I already mentioned, is a place that has a master plan. And from the top of my head, I can literally give you some of the major infrastructures that would come in certain places in this very city. And if you doubt that, you can scroll to the shared channel. And over time, I have done videos like that, educating investors and also educating clients on how they can be able to invest strategically into this very city. And one thing I can tell you for a fact is that every single infrastructure in this very city is planned for. Every single building you have seen was planned for. Every single amenity you have seen in this city was also planned for. The only thing that would make something like that happen in Abuja, which is going to be a worst scenario, is when the government now suddenly picks interest in a particular location, which is rarely seen. Right now, this happened in one very location in Abuja known as the Mpape Hills. Right now, the government, as of that time, they were planning on building a presidential resort, and that was not initially captured in the master plan of Abuja. Now, what happened to the idea of that presidential resort is that because the idea of the resort was being led by one particular administration, once they left office, the idea of that said project, it died. Now, the reason why that happened was because first, it was not initially captured in the master plan of this very city. If it was captured, then the FCT minister will be making sure that things are being put in place to make sure that that said project is coming to life right now. Now, the summary of this entire point is that in order for something like that to happen in Abuja, that means the government, they have to have a sudden interest in a particular location, which happens in the worst scenarios. And those said worst scenarios are one that after one particular administration, the next administration cannot be able to take on that vision of that very project. Talking about the master plan of Abuja, if you have seen repeatedly or you have visited the city before now, if you notice something very critical in this city is that anywhere you find a major market, like the Wuse market, you have other major markets inside this very city, every single district has their own designated markets. Right? Anywhere you find a market, there are other things you would find around that very market, like a police station, a major school, a church, and any other religious centers around that very major market. Now, that was how the city was structured. Therefore, they are designated areas for living in this very city. That means the government, they can even go to a residential location to say, okay, we want to demolish this very plot and then not give you compensation for the demolition of your properties. Right now, Abuja stands out in so many other ways, but these are some of the ways that it is definitely guaranteed that something that happened in Lagos cannot happen in Abuja as a city. Let's trace it back to when demolitions happened very recently in the city of Abuja, where the current FCT minister Nyesom Wike demolished some plot in a particular location in Abuja. Now, upon the first phase of demolition that very district, a lot of people went to the media, and then that also projected a whole other narrative that Abuja is not a safe place for them to invest in, that Abuja is not a safe place for you particularly to invest in. But based on the FCT Act of 1976, the government provided compensation for each and every person that lost his or her plot in that very demolition. But after the compensation was made, the people that created that bad media did not go back to the media to also tell everybody that, okay, we have gotten compensation. Now, that leads to one particular point, like I stated earlier on. This city is guided by a different set of laws, and not abiding to that laws, it automatically gives you and provides you with consequences. That means buying area council land. Now, something that is very common with investors is that they are investing into area council land, which in the future has a 99.9% possibility of it either being demolished or revoked, as the case may be. Playing in between the law of the city and also playing in between the law of the master plan of this very city, you are definitely guaranteed to not have any sort of encumbrance in terms of having a conflict with the government or having a conflict with any other real estate company or development company in this very city. In all of this, the basic thing I'm trying to say to you is that if every other jurisdiction in Nigeria has a problem, Abuja would definitely stand out, and that is why this city is the best city you should consider investing into right now, and also make that decision very fast. If this video has been helpful for you so far, then I would say you should reach out to me on the number right on your screen, or subscribe to this channel to get more of this kind of educational tips when it comes to investing into the Abuja real estate market. Once again, my name is Alefune David, and I am the real estate broker in the city of Abuja, who is committed to bringing you the absolute best of real estate, educating you, and also bringing you the most affordable real estate investment opportunities in this very city. I'll see you on our next video session. Until then, stay safe.